And here we have another beaded bracelet with a 14mm Rivoli as a focal point. Today we learn how to attach a strap made in the right angle weave technique. Keep watching to this fast and easy tutorial. As I have promised, today we are going to see how we can add this type of strap that is made with units of right angle weave and how we attach it to one of our bezeled Rivoli. In a previous tutorial I have beaded this bezel for you, so I will just put a link to that part of the tutorial so we don't repeat it now. And in this tutorial we are going to get busy only with how to make the strap. The materials that we are going to use will be the 11 O's. Then we will need 15 O's that will go in between the 11 O beads of the strap, and then you can decide if you want to consider your strap from this point on, so just the right angle weave, or if you want to add the bead as well. Here I have added an 8mm tourmaline bead. Today we are going to do our demonstration with a 6mm coral. For this type of strap I am going to use what I call the hinge, that type of connection that I have discovered a while ago and I love it so much because it's both very flexible and very strong as well. So let's start with the hinge. You remember that in the tutorial where we've made the Rivoli, the bezel, we have had these 3 beads as a marker, and for our connection we will need the 2 beads in the central row in between the marker beads. So we basically need 2 consecutive beads from the middle row of the peyote bezel with 11 O's. So let's anchor a new bead, a new thread, and I usually work it like this. So a few stitches around. So if I have this bead I will put it around these 2 beads. See, this one and this one. It will kind of create not a very strong one. Okay. Again, and now I position my thread on the first bead that I am interested in. Here you need to be careful that the thread goes exactly where you want. So here we have our first bead, and around this one we create ladder stitch, so this means that we pick up 1 seed bead, and go around it like this. And this is how the bead will sit. And now reinforce, go back up again, and for my peace of mind I go up and reinforce the second time. So in total we have 3 passes with the thread. So this will be the first part of the hinge that belongs to the bezel. Now I move the thread on the second bead of the peyote sticking out. So this was one, a gap, and the second one. And we do the same ladder stitch with an 11/0. One, two, and let's go once more. Just like this. And in this moment I have the 2 beads that will be part of our hinge connection. Now in a natural way we can see that our thread goes that way. And here we use a bead that will be part of the strap. Actually, let me use, just for this purpose, another color so you can see. So this is already the bead of the strap, so we just put it in between these 2 seed beads, the ones anchored to the bezel. And now we bring in what I call the stopper beads, and these stopper beads you can decide to use 11/0 or 15/0. From my experience, the 11/0 don't look nice at all, so I pick up one 15/0 that I call the stopper bead of the hinge, go back through the 11/0 and all 3 beads, and then the same type of stopper bead at the other side, and this way, and we pull well the thread, and this way is how we make the hinge. And again, for my peace of mind, at least 3 passes of the thread. 3 times. It's something very, very safe. Okay. And now, with this hinge finished, we start using this bead as the starting point of our bracelet strap. And here we can continue from here. We can continue straight into a plain right angle weave, or we can add the bead in between. Let's start with adding the bead on the strap. Here I have to apologize. Initially I have recommended a 6mm bead, which would work, but it wouldn't sit well with the balance, with the size. It will be too small. So I have decided to follow the initial design and go with an 8mm bead because it wouldn't look nice at all. So we have at this step the middle bead. Let's see how we do it. Taie puțin. So here we have our thread coming out of the middle bead, and we add 2 11/0s around this bead. And we make sure they sit side by side, like in a herringbone stitch. Okay, we go back again. And here we are ready to attach our bead. So up the first bead, pick up the 8mm bead, 2, 3 beads, seed beads, go back down, the bead, and through the other bead from the hinge that is already attached to the hinge. Okay, and now let's try and go again. Hopefully the beads will allow. Through the middle one. Okay, pull well the thread, and the idea is that our bead will sit on those 2 sets of seed beads. Okay, now we go back up. And go down again. Okay, let's try again and see if we can go once more through that middle bead. Would be lovely. If not, well, still good. Let's see. It seems quite tight to me, which means that I wouldn't go for this reinforcement through this bead, but just through these 2 beads. Okay, And this is how our bead is attached from the Rivoli. Now let's make our right angle weave strap, which starts on around this point, around this bead. What we work now around this bead can be started right after we've made the hinge around the central bead. Okay, so we just work a normal right angle weave, pick up 3, close them in a circle, move the thread 2 beads up, and then continue with the next right angle weave unit. So 3 more beads, circle, move the thread 2 beads up, and this way you make the length that you need for the strap, taking into account obviously the size of the bead, and that we usually leave about 1 inch, 2.5 centimeters for the clasp connection. Okay, so let's make one more unit together. Two beads up, and I'll show you how we finish for the clasp. Let's pick up one closed ring, the one that doesn't have a hole, not like a jump ring. I'll just make another unit. Okay, so here I will just make a unit, the final unit. Instead of 3 seed beads, with 4 or 5, so we can accommodate the size of the ring inside the unit. So let's say that I have picked up 5 here. I pick up the ring as well. I close my ring, I close my unit, and I reinforce a few times. So this unit made with 5 seed beads is just for the purpose of catching this ring in. And because it's a very important part of the bracelet, the clasp, we reinforce 2 or 3 times, maybe 4. Okay, when we have finished, we come out at the starting bead of the unit, and now we go back and create a set of right angle weave units on this side of the strap. So we move the thread here, and this will be the anchoring point for a new unit. So 1, 2, and 3, and make 1 unit, move the thread here, and the next unit we'll have to connect this and this too. So we only need 2 seed beads for our right angle weave unit, and connect with these two and go back, and we move the thread here. The next unit will need to contain these two, so we connect them and pick up 2, and here we are. We move the thread here, and here the last unit that we can make, it will be between these 2 beads. So pick up 2 and go around those 2. Being at the end, I would again reinforce. Okay, so this was one on this side, and now we have to make the same row on the other side for the symmetry. So we have to move the thread here, and that to be the anchoring bead. So we just move it there. And here we are ready for another row, the second. So the first unit needs 3 seed beads to complete the right angle weave unit with 4. And now we move the thread here. The next units will need to add only 2 seed beads and to connect with the spine, with the central line of right angle weave. So pick up 2, finish the circle, move the thread. Here we have a unit between these 2. Pick up 2, finish the circle, okay. My mat is moving, and here we are at the last unit. And again, being at the end, we reinforce. And here we have our strap. We can leave the strap as it is, but as we all know, no matter how much effort we put in, the right angle weave straps have a certain uneven aspect. So to control it a little, I suggest that we place a 15-0 in between the horizontal seed beads of the strap. So I move the thread here, which is the first anchoring bead of the side, let's say row. I pick up a 15-0, and we are working with 15-0s because 11-0s would be too big and wouldn't look nice. And we just place the 15-0 between consecutive beads of the initial row, just like this. And here. And you can help the beads to drop in a little, like this. So this would count as reinforcement as well. And now, around the central, the first right angle weave row that we've made, we turn back, and again the horizontal 11-0 will be the anchoring, and now 15-0 and connect, go through the next horizontal. It's a kind of embellishment if you want, but the purpose is, from my point of view, strictly to make the look of the right angle weave more regular. It forces the units to sit nicer. And of course here you can decide to use the same color of 15-0s or a contrast, like here, a contrast which could be the size, the color of the bead, or of the other 15-0s that you have used to bezel the Rivoli. So this is how the strap would look, obviously with a longer length for the strap. And to build up the other similar, the other part of the strap, we just use the mark that we've made for ourselves, and we are going to use these two seed beads from the central row in between those three. Or if it's easier for you, you can just place the needle over the bead that you've used, and you can find the equivalent bead on the other side. And this magic is working, so like this. So if you find one, obviously you will find the other one as well, because it will be the consecutive one. This magic works only because we have a 14mm Rivoli with 36 beads that go around, and that's 36 number of beads allows us to easily find the symmetrical bead. So I hope you like this technique. The bracelet is really pretty, and if you like the beads, the gemstones, like in this case, it's a very nice way of incorporating both sparkle and gemstones in a very sturdy, you know, bracelet, just like this. I hope you like this one. Thank you for watching. I will link the other tutorials in a playlist. So thank you, and see you with the next tutorial. Ciao ciao.